Welcome to From Data to Victory.
Hello and welcome back to From Data to Victory with political strategist Fairalee Carrier, founder of the Republican Political Consulting LLC. Fairalee helps candidates in Massachusetts and Texas to run smarter, more strategic campaigns. I'm Evan Mack, and today we're looking at the numbers behind every successful race. Fairalee will explain what voter data really shows, how research shapes messaging, and why ignoring it could cost a campaign everything. Welcome back, Ms. Fairalee.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. We're going to talk about this data and voter research and how it can make or break your campaign. But so let's get into when a candidate hears the word data, it can sound abstract, maybe intimidating. How do you usually break this down and explain what voter data actually is and how it is gathered?
So I tell candidates that voter data is simply organized information about people who can vote. It's just that simple. It includes basic details like age, party registration, voting history, and geography, but it can also include insights from surveys, social media engagement, and public records. It's not mysterious. It's a snapshot of who lives in your district and how they
Right.
behaved in past elections. Most of
Right.
it comes from state voter files, which campaigns can then update and enrich through canvassing, phone calls, and reputable third-party analytics, except I provide the analytics as part of my service. But the goal isn't to spy, it's to understand your audience well enough to communicate effectively.
So what happens inside a campaign when decisions are made without verifying voters and who they really are or what really matters to them?
Sure. That's when campaigns drift into what I call the echo chamber campaigning.
Mm, mm.
Decisions start being made based on assumptions or personal opinions instead of facts. You'll see ads targeted to the wrong demographic or field teams spending weekends in neighborhoods that have low turnout potential. Without verified voter understanding, you waste money and time. And often you end up surprised on election night because the campaign never truly connected with the electorate.
Some consultants talk about reading the district. What does that process look like in practical terms when you're identifying where support truly exists for the candidate?
Sure, that's a great question. So, reading the district means mapping reality, not just guessing it. Practically, what we do in my company is we start by layering the data, voter registration, turnout history, and demographic information onto a map, like an actual map. Then we overlay it with field intelligence, which precincts respond well at the door, um, or which issues drive conversation, which churches and community hubs hold influence. Once you see those patterns, you can identify your persuasive zones and your turnout zones. That's how you allocate your resources smartly instead of evenly spreading them everywhere.
Can you tell us about a time when accurate data changed the direction of a campaign? Maybe that moment where the numbers revealed something or the team hadn't seen before that kind of helped them?
One campaign I worked on that stands out to me was a state legislative race in Texas. Early polling suggested our candidate was struggling with suburban women on fiscal
Mm,
issues. But when we dug deeper into the voter data and ran issue-specific phone surveys, we discovered it wasn't fiscal concerns at all. It was frustrations about local school zoning. So we pivoted our messaging to emphasize parental involvement and school transparency, and that segment of voters swung our way. So without accurate data, we couldn't have kept talking about the wrong issue. We could have continued to talk about the wrong issue up until election day.
Many campaigns buy access to polling reports or analytic platforms. How can a candidate tell whether the data they're paying for is actually useful?
So good data should be current, verifiable, and actionable. If it's 6 months old or based on generic national trends, it's not helping you.
Mhm.
You need to ask where the numbers come from. Are they drawn from your district's voter file or a national model? And can you use the data to make a specific decision? For example, should I spend more on digital in precincts 4 and 5, or is it worth targeting older independents with a mail piece? If the data doesn't answer those questions, it's not worth your campaign dollars.
Early voting and mail-in patterns, they evolve. How does current voter behavior influence the kind of data you prioritize during an election cycle?
So early voting has completely changed how we pace campaigns. You can't treat election day as a single finish line. It's more like a marathon with multiple checkpoints. So we now track when voters are most likely to cast ballots, not just if they will. That means campaigns need strong chase data to identify early voters and follow up in real time. If you wait into the final week to persuade them, they've already voted many times in early voting. So timing and turnout models are now as important as message targeting is.
Misinformation spreads quickly online, especially in the new era, where everyone is an expert in everything on social media. What impacts does unreliable or manipulated data have on how candidates and voters make decisions based on all this ever-changing, evolving things that happen online?
Sure. Huge. That's a great question. Bad data can destroy everything in a campaign, essentially. Candidates might believe that they're ahead when they're not, or voters may be influenced by fake polls that are designed to discourage turnout. Once false numbers start to circulate online, they can shape media narratives and donor confidence. So the best defense is transparency. Always cross-check data resources and rely on reputable, consistent pollsters. I tell campaigns to focus more on verified voter behavior than online noise. Voters' past actions are far more trustworthy than trending hashtags.
For smaller local campaigns that don't have big budgets, what are some realistic ways they collect or interpret data without overspending?
Another great question, and this is actually one that is I see a lot more uh, that I see would be useful to my Massachusetts politicians. So start small and go direct. Your local election office, they can provide official voter file at a low cost. From there, you build your own contact list through door knocking, phone banks, and surveys. Use free or low cost platforms to track responses, like Google Sheets works just fine if you're disciplined. You don't need expensive modeling to know your community. You just need consistent data entry and follow up. The real power comes from how you use the data, not how fancy the tools are.
Looking ahead to 2026, what do you expect to change most about how campaigns use voter research and to plan and to strategize?
Sure. So by 2026, I believe that we will see much more real-time voter analytics. Campaigns will be able to just adjust messaging like midweek based on live engagement data from text, calls, and digital ads. Privacy laws will likely tighten, though, as a result of this. So campaigns will rely more on first-party data that they collect directly. Also, AI, intelligence tools, will start predicting voter sentiment shifts faster than polling ever could. But the principle itself won't change. Technology helps, but human judgment and local knowledge will still decide who wins.
Awesome. Ms. Fairley, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us on today's conversation from Data to Victory with Ms. Fairalee Carrier. To learn more about Republican Political Consulting LLC and Fairlee's work helping candidates turn research into results, visit fairalee.com. Thanks for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone so you do not miss the next episode as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.